When did ancient humans start drinking alcohol? Before agriculture, before cities, before writing. Our ancestors were already getting buzzed. The real surprise? It wasn't beer or wine. It was fruit. Ripe, rotting fruit on the forest floor contained a natural chemical, ethanol. Ethanol is a simple molecule, but to a hungry primate it meant one thing: calories. But there was a side effect, a strange, pleasant feeling. Animals noticed it too: monkeys, apes, even birds. This wasn't civilization. This was opportunism. For thousands of years, this was the only alcohol: fermented fruit. Then something changed. Humans learned to store food. Stored fruit didn't just rot, it transformed. Natural yeast floating in the air found a new home: sugary mush. The result was accidental, predictable, and unavoidable. Early humans didn't invent alcohol. They stumbled into it. The earliest evidence? 9,000 years ago, China. Pottery jars from a village called Jihu held residue of a mixed drink: rice, honey, and fruit, all fermented together. Not beer, not wine, something older, wilder. But 9,000 years ago is late. We wanted to go deeper. Archaeologists found something surprising in Israel: a 13,000-year-old burial site. The pots buried with the dead weren't for water. They were for something special. Residue analysis confirmed it: fermented plant materials, alcohol for the afterlife. Think about that. They were burying alcohol with their dead. Ritual, belief, desire. 13,000 years ago. That's before farming, before villages, before dogs. But we're not done. There's older evidence, much older. In Ethiopia, stone tools from 70,000 years ago tell a different story. Free transcendence. Not pots this time, just stone tools and fruit stains. 70,000 years ago. That's before humans left Africa in large numbers. These weren't farmers. These were hunter-gatherers, nomads. They followed water, followed animals, followed ripe fruit. Fermented fruit was everywhere. It wasn't rare. It was a fact of life. So when did it become deliberate? When did humans start making alcohol on purpose? The answer is written in pottery and in our DNA. Some humans evolved to digest alcohol better, a genetic mutation. The ADH4 gene, it appeared around 10 million years ago. Some humans evolved to digest alcohol better, a genetic mutation. This mutation allowed early primates to process ethanol 40 times faster. Why? Because rotting fruit was everywhere. The ones who could eat it survived better. So alcohol wasn't a vice. It was an evolutionary advantage. Fast forward to the Neolithic Revolution, farming changes everything. Now, humans had grain, and grain changes the alcohol game. Grain doesn't ferment easily. It has to be malted, heated, cultured. This was work, deliberate, conscious, a technology. The first beer? Probably an accident. The second beer? Beer became currency, payment for workers building the pyramids. In Mesopotamia, beer was rationed daily, recorded in writing. The oldest known recipe, a Sumerian hymn to Ninkasi, the beer goddess. Wine came later, more elite, more dangerous. Wine needed grapes, grapes needed land, land needed wealth. The Greeks didn't just drink wine, they worshipped it. Dionysus. Dionysus was the god of wine, madness, and ecstasy, a dangerous combination. The Romans drank wine daily, mixed with water, sometimes with lead. Lead made wine sweeter and also made Romans go insane. And she'd wow. Some historians blame lead poisoning for Rome's collapse. The wine did it. Before beer, before wine, before farming, before humans. But let's go back, way back, to the beginning of everything. Fruit fermentation is older than our entire genus, much older. Primates were eating fermented fruit 20 million years ago, before monkeys, before the dinosaurs died, before the Himalayas rose. So, if alcohol was always there, what changed? Scale, intent, culture. We didn't invent alcohol, we domesticated it. Brewing became knowledge, passed down, protected, perfected. Every civilization had its own alcohol: beer, wine, mead, sake, pulque. But one question remains: why did we keep drinking? It tastes bitter. It harms us. The answer is in our brain. Alcohol hijacks the reward system. Dopamine, the molecule of more. Alcohol triggers it. Your brain learns, this feeling is good. Do it again. That's addiction. That's biology. That's us. So, when did ancient humans start drinking alcohol? The answer depends on what you mean by drinking. If you mean accidental fermentation, 20 million years ago, primates. If you mean deliberate brewing, 13,000 years ago, Israel, burial pots. If you mean agriculture-based alcohol, 9,000 years ago, China, jiahu. If you mean wine, 8,000 years ago, Georgia, clay vessels with grape residue. If you mean beer, 7,000 years ago, Iran, the Sumerians. So the answer spans 20 million years, from monkeys to Mesopotamia. But there's a deeper answer, a psychological one. Alcohol solves a problem, the problem of being conscious. Consciousness is noise. Alcohol turns down the volume. For a few hours, the existential dread fades. The inner critic shuts up. That's why we drank then. That's why we drink now. Alcohol is ancient because anxiety is ancient. Before therapy, before medication, there was fermentation. We've been self-medicating for millions of years. So the real question isn't when, it's why we haven't stopped. Because it works. Temporarily. But it works. Ancient humans figured out what we're still figuring out. That alcohol is a tool, a dangerous one, but a tool. And like any tool, it depends on how you use it. Celebration, grief, courage, boredom. Alcohol follows every human emotion. We drink to bond, to confess, to forget, to remember differently. The first drink was curiosity. The second was need. That line between use and abuse, it's been blurry for 20 million years. So what have we learned? That alcohol is older than us, smarter than us. It evolved alongside us, shaped us, selected us. The humans who could handle alcohol, they survived. The ones who couldn't, they didn't. That's natural selection, and alcohol was the filter. So, when did ancient humans start drinking alcohol? The answer is written in your genes, in your cravings, in your history. Every time you crave a drink, you're hearing a 20 million-year-old echo. That craving isn't weakness, it's inheritance. Your liver, your brain, your cravings, they were all shaped by fermented fruit. So the next time you raise a glass, remember you're not just drinking. You're participating in a ritual that predates humanity itself. That's the real answer. Not a date, a feeling. The warmth in your chest, the loosening of your tongue, the silence in your head. That's what we've been chasing for 20 million years. Not progress, not technology, just relief. Ancient humans started drinking alcohol the moment they found fruit that fell too early. Before language, before fire, before art. There was a fruit, it fell, it rotted, and someone ate it anyway. And the world changed, not with a bang, with a burp. That burp echoed through 20 million years, and you're still feeling it. So, when did ancient humans start drinking alcohol? The answer is everywhere, and nowhere, and inside you. In your genes, in your culture, in your next drink. That's the real history of alcohol, not a date, a relationship. One that started with a fallen fruit and never ended. And you're just the latest chapter.